Hello everyone, it's Goose here, and not by any popular demand whatsoever, but I thought I'd bring back a coffee chat. Where is my coffee? So it's great to be back, guys. It's great to be back in England actually, because I've just been to Cuba and I've been playing out there doing some concerts. That was really good fun. I sprained my first finger falling off a motorbike, but apart from that it was a great time and great to learn the music of Cuba. Something I've always wanted to learn, guys, the Afro-Cuban music, and I may do a lesson in the future if anyone's interested. So write to me in the comments if you want me to do any sort of Cuban songs. You want me to teach you any of that? So let me know about that. So today's subject, amongst other things, is if I could only own 3 electric guitars, what would they be? Electric guitars we're talking about today because, guys, acoustic guitars, that's another ball game, and this channel hasn't really addressed much about acoustic guitars, and I will do that in the future, but there's a reason why I haven't done that. I will explain that soon when I do some acoustic guitar videos, but all will be revealed soon. But to get back to this video, 3 electric guitars. I'm going to give you my 3 electric guitars which I would be happy just having these 3 electrics. There's a caveat to this, obviously, and then you can, in the comments, you guys can give me your 3 electrics that you couldn't live without. So maybe the title of this video is 3 electric guitars I couldn't live without, or what are the best 3 types of electric guitars to own. This is because, you know, think about it, we've been through long periods where we've been indoors, we've been on eBay, Reverb, all these places, and buying lots of guitars. And maybe we need to sell a few, maybe we don't. Maybe we love our guitars and we want to be surrounded by these beautiful things. But maybe we need to just shed a few things, and we need to think, you know, what are 3 guitars where I can just touch all the bases, you know? So that's what we're going to explore on this video. I'm holding a Les Paul. This is my beloved Les Paul. And it's kind of my main touring instrument, so this is why it's really important to me at the moment, because I'm really getting into the blues again, and in particular, because I'm from England, British blues, I guess, even though it's from Mississippi via Africa. So basically, yeah, man, I mean, you know, what can you say about Les Paul? It's just got that, you know, it's got that sort of great quack for, you know, the Freddie. The whole hideaway. You know, all that sort of stuff, and then onwards to Eric Clapton. You know, and his way of playing, and then you got the Peter Green, when he actually covered. If you go on the internet and Google Blues Breakers Live 1967, you'll hear Peter Green. He actually did a great version of All Your Love, and there's some beautiful out of phase playing. You know, that's why I always have my Les Pauls out of phase, pretty much. And to get that Peter Green sound that we know and love, obviously you got a great thick neck position. Beautiful sounds that emanate from a Les Paul, but generally, you know, really what we're doing is we're looking for sustain, and we're really looking for those high notes. You know, that's what we're looking for, that violin sound out of the Les Paul, you know. And it's a great rhythm sort of instrument, you know, even on the Eagles stuff it was used to great effect with Joe Walsh playing his Les Paul, but you know, especially like with Fleetwood Mac. So it is a great rhythm instrument as well. It covers so many bases. I mean, you could live your whole life just on this one instrument. So that will be one of my three. But the caveat is I'm gonna give myself an option here. Obviously, I wouldn't be allowed to keep both. But if I had to get down to three, the one that I would swap at the Les Paul position out would be a Telecaster. Because a Telecaster, in a sense, does a similar thing to a Les Paul. You've got this nice open sort of neck position. So you've got this great sort of neck position sound, and then you've got your kind of cutting, again, similar to a Les Paul. So you've got this great cutting bridge position. Obviously this is not out of phase. I think Roy Buchanan's pickup set were actually out of phase, but this is not. So you've got a great sort of funky or sort of country when it's in tune. So you've got a nice in between position sound. So that's what I would say is my position number one would be a choice between a Les Paul and a Tele, and I'd have to make the decision which one to keep, and it would be really difficult. At the moment I would keep the Les Paul because, you know, that's what I'm playing at the moment. Now, number two position would be the 335. I think it is the best blues guitar because you had B.B. King play one, you had Freddie King play one, and you had Otis Rush. You know, Otis Rush flipped from a Strat to some kind of a semi-acoustic. So you had these three guys, you know, not obviously Albert King. It would have been nice for Albert King to play one as well, but he was, you know, securely on the Flying V by Gibson and by one made by Dan Erlewine. But anyway, back to those Otis Rush, B.B. King, Freddie King. They all sort of ended up on this semi-acoustic. So this is why this guitar has become synonymous with the blues. It's a great blues guitar. However, you can play jazz on it as well. It's a great jazz, you know. So it's a great all-rounder because you can play jazz on it. You can play blues, you can play R&B, you can play funk. Covers all those bases, and of course you can play rock because it's got this centre block of wood. So you can play rock. So what would be really sensible is having a Telecaster. You've got your black guard there, which is my favourite. You could go for rosewood, but I love the black guards. And then you could have your 335 because that would cover the Les Paul. Okay, so I've just given you two great guitars, the Telecaster in number one position. Number two position, the 335, because, like I said, it's got the centre block. So, you know, Eric Clapton, Royal Albert Hall, 1968. So there you go, that's your number two position. This is really, from jazz to rock to everything in between, this covers the lot. If you've never had a 335, the biggest, I always tell my friends, get a 335. The biggest complaint is this thing here, but you know, a lot of the times, you kind of, the way your body fits in there is you're kind of coming over here. You're not playing it like this, you know. you're not playing, your arm's not over this bit. It's always, this bit here is kind of past my arm, if you can see what I mean. So it's kind of, it doesn't really hinder you, you know. So I think, you know, even if you're scared of the size of it, just go for it, man. Go for it. You will not regret it. So that would be my number 2 position, because again, from jazz, you know, you've got a real mellow sound here on the neck position. With this great rock sound, and then in between you've got all the funk chords. There's your funk, and there's your jazz, and then your blues and your rock is on the front pickup. So this is why it's such a versatile guitar. It's easy to play. It's not like a Les Paul can be really, you know, in your face, and sometimes it's a bit of a beast to control. But when you control it, there's nothing like a great, beautiful violin sound, which you're not going to get from this. It's a little bit more mellow, you know. You're not going to get that great violin sound, in my opinion, that you would get with the Les Paul. So that's why I love the Les Paul. So probably, me personally, my number 1 position would be a Les Paul. This would be number 2. But I would say, for other people, Telecaster would be number 1. And this number 2. That's going to be far more, you're going to encompass far more different musical styles and sounds with those 2 instruments. Okay, so that's number 2 is the 335. So this is going to get controversial, guys. I'm going to tell you what is my number 3. Now, when I say number 3, it could be number 1, it could be number 2. But it is a Strat. And you're thinking, that's so obvious. I know what you're thinking, guys, that's so obvious. But why? Why? And why not a maple neck Strat? Why a rosewood Strat? Well, if you're going to choose a Telecaster, for me, without shadow of a doubt, the Blackguard is way better than a rosewood Tele. And I know I'm going to get a lot of haters for saying that, but that's what I just think. I just think that. So why not with a Strat have the rosewood board, and then you've kind of got something different. This is a scoop sound. The Telecaster is sitting more or less in the same sonic sort of arena as the Les Paul. The Strat, however, is that scoop sound. So it's really great, you know, doing those sort of Hendrixy. And that's really where the Strat is great, because it does all these beautiful choral. You know, which you can't really do that on a Tele. You kind of can, but the Strat, guys, just sits in that sonic sort of frequency range where no other instrument seems to sit, and it's just so cool. As you know, if you're using it not just as a Hendrix sort of, you know, to play Hendrix isms and that kind of beautiful chordal stuff that he has, but if you're using it just to kind of sit behind a mix and just it's a really beautiful rhythm instrument, and just sounds great in a band for playing various, you know, little parts. You know, it doesn't have to be the lead thing. And also for lead, you know, when you're playing a lead, you can really smash the guitar. You can smash a Strat like you can't really smash a Tele or a 335 or a Les Paul in the same way. And you're saying, what am I talking about? This kind of... that kind of vibe. You just can't do that on any other instrument. You can just really, the Testify and all those sort of songs, those crazy songs, which are really, really great for just, really whacking the guitar. And, that's why you see a lot of these kind of blues rock guitarists with no sort of finish here, because they're just, that. You can just go berserk, you can just go become an animal playing one of these things. So that's really the thing with the Strat. Obviously you can really mellow it out. You can do all of that stuff. We know you can do that. That goes without saying. So really, when it comes down to the three instruments, guys, that obviously, personal taste will be the Les Paul, number one, okay? Which is this beauty here. It's called a Daniels Les Paul. It's not a Gibson, it's a Daniels. This will be in my number one. However, that's only because I need it for these concerts, series of concerts I'm doing for the next couple of years. If I wasn't doing that, and I didn't need the Les Paul, then it would probably be something like a Telly. I don't know. Something versatile. Then secondly, some instrument with, like I said, it could be, it doesn't have to be a Gibson, it could be an Epiphone Casino. It could be many things. The guy who makes the Daniels Les Paul is making me a signature guitar, and he's going to make me something similar to this. Because really, I think these are the most versatile. Something with an F hole. I just love guitars with an F hole, and that would be my number two. Would be something like a Starfire. Guild Starfire, or it could be, Yamaha makes some great, can't remember the name of them, Yamaha SA2000 or something, really good semi-acoustics. It could be Ibanez, the kind of, John Scofield plays an Ibanez semi-acoustic. So some kind of a semi-acoustic would be my number two, nice big body. Don't be afraid of the big body, guys. Don't be afraid of it. Even if you're really small, I'm 5'10", I'm not big, but I still can handle this. So that would be my number two, just for the fact that it can go from jazz to blues to fusion to rock, just everything. You can cover literally. You could have your whole career on this one instrument. And then lastly, I'd finish up on a Strat, just because of its versatility and its sound. It's a scoop sound. It lives in a different sonic range from the humbucker and the telly and all those instruments. It's in its own thing, whether you like it or hate it. It is, by its very nature, in that sonic range. It's a versatile instrument, but it's not the most versatile in the world. Some people put humbuckers in here to try and get it to sound like a Les Paul, but then even then it doesn't really, like the famous Richie Sambora signature Strat, he always put a humbucker in it, but even then, it's not really a Les Paul. It's not really a Les Paul sound. So that's why, you couldn't really have, one, for me anyway, I couldn't have just one guitar. It just wouldn't work for me. I also play slide guitar, that's a whole other world. But just talking about normal electrics, for me personally, if I can get down to the Les Paul, a 335 style instrument and the Strat, I'm happy, I'm good to go. I don't need anything else, I don't need all this, stuff cluttering my life. And I can move around easily. But that's not to say, I'm like anyone else. I love lots of instruments. I have quite a few guitars. I don't just have 3 guitars, but kind of like if I'm trying to boil it down to 3 that I use a lot, it's probably going to be these 3: the 335, the Strat, and the Telly or the Les Paul. That's what it's going to come down to. Anyway, hope this video has been of some help, even if maybe you've only got one guitar and you want to go buy a couple more guitars, and maybe this video has helped you, and that's going to be great. And maybe you've got loads of guitars and you really hate the fact that I'm saying you should only have 3. I'm not really saying that, I'm just saying try to boil it down to 3 guitars if you can. Because, you know, I don't want to offend anyone that's got like 100 guitars, you know. And maybe your choice of 3 guitars are similar to mine, or they're completely different, you know. So please write that in the comments. And when I'm playing, this is a Navigator ESP. This is not even a Fender Strat. So it could be that you've got a Shure kind of Strat or an Ernie Ball Strat, or an Ernie Ball kind of, you know, 3 single coil pickup guitar, you know. So I'm not saying, or G&L. It doesn't have to be a Fender, you know, USA made Strat. It's that kind of, you know what I'm talking about, this sort of style of instrument. So tell me your 3 guitars that if you only had 3 guitars, you could only have 3 guitars, what would they be? What electrics would you have? I'd be really interested to read those in the comments. It's good to touch base with you guys. Like I said, I've just come back from Cuba. It's been an amazing experience out there. And hopefully I'm going to be going to, maybe I'm going to Mali in the Sahara. So if I do that later this year, I shall hopefully do a video. When I go back to Cuba and when I go to Mali, I'm going to do some videos, especially for this channel. Kind of like a mini documentary, because I think that'd be really cool. You know, checking out the guitar players out there and interviewing them, and you know, so maybe I could put something like that together for this channel. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.